Hello and welcome to GM Sonic. Thank you all for joining us today. It's going to be a CorvalCast. I hope you're ready. We've got the K-pop girls dancing behind me. We're going to bring the energy, okay? I clickbaited you. I asked, is Sonic dead in the title? It's definitely not, and we're going to demonstrate that here today, okay? So let's get it started, okay? Let's play a little video to break this up, and then we'll get into it. We'll bring on Express.
And these bitch niggas gon' hate me, so I already know we got a Patek Philippe.
All right. That was my video intro. How you guys doing today? I've got the Express intern and funeral joining me today. How you gents doing?
Good. I'm excited to hear about Express, honestly. I know we were going to talk about DerpQuest on here, but when you said he was coming in, I was like, oh, what is that? So,
oh, dude, we're going to talk about it all, bro. Express, DerpQuest 2. We got to talk about what's happened to Ruggies. And we're also going to talk about a little bit like just generic stuff, temperament and all that. But I guess the first thing we should look at, and this is kind of embarrassing, I forgot to pull this up, actually. I pulled up everything else except for this. Let's look up the charts, okay? I personally, I don't know about you guys. How you guys been doing charting lately? You guys been charting well lately?
I'm an RSI guy. I'm oversold, overbought. I just kind of take a look at that. And then, I mark conviction plays or teams that I'm watching. And then either chase the waterfall or I'll try to strategically be like, hey, it looks kind of like I should buy now.
Nice. See, I'm completely vibes. What about you, Express, intern?
I very easily get into rage trading. So most of the time I try to stick on developing stuff and working on the product. But sometimes I start and then it goes all quickly and in different directions. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel you. That was happening to me a little bit last night. It's hard to enforce that discipline, It's easy to let the emotions run wild on you, and you start revenge trading, and then you start losing. But let's take a look at the charts here. Bitcoin down, dude. Ansom's thesis. Have you guys seen this? Ansom, big influencer guy. He was saying that let me fix my anime girls here real quick. They're not anime.
They're K-pop girls. How dare you?
K-pop girls. Yeah, I feel very rude about that. I'm sorry. I apologize to Seraphim, Seraphim. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Ansom's thesis was that we have topped in this market already. I don't know if you guys believe it or not, but Bitcoin is kind of looking like it. Bitcoin and Ethereum, they kind of are looking a little pained right now on the hourly. But let's switch it to the daily. Let's see how we're holding up. Okay, pretty big dump, but still looks pretty healthy. It's healthy to have big dumps sometimes, funeral. Do you know that?
Every morning.
Every morning, that's right.
Usually.
So the majors are doing middling, okay? But we have seen some kind of strength. I feel like the only strength I'm really seeing in the market today is I guess it feels like a lot of things have bottomed out, but it seems like Aster and S actually have been kind of overperforming compared to others. Have you guys seen this?
There's good plays happening right now in the market. There's definitely no need to doom and gloom. I see a lot of negativity on the timeline. I think that we have legs. I think we have November to look forward to.
I agree. I think the momentum's still here.
Yeah, there's still plays to be made. Aster took people by surprise. I think there's another one popping up. There's another trading platform on Solana right now.
Oh, hold on. We just got to pump the price request. Let's pump the price for them. Guys, let's pump the price.
Yeah, I got that button right here, actually, so I'm glad you said something. I forgot to press it.
Yeah, oh, don't worry. I'm pressing the bull button. I don't know if you guys can hear it. But we're going to pump the price. Okay, guys, that's the whole point of this. AVAX up 10% today. DeFi Maximals, don't ever talk to me again. CZ says dips are good for building foundations, so Sonic's foundation must be rock solid by now. So true, Yankee. Everyone's so salty. And I guess he should be. But let's get into, some of the actual weeds here. Let's get into how Sonic is actually still alive. Express intern. Let's talk about Express, man. Express is a protocol I've heard a lot of people mention. A lot of people really like it on Sonic. They're really quite bullish on it. Could you give us the pitch on it?
Yeah, so we are a fully on-chain club on Sonic, and I think we are one of the first fully on-chain clubs to go live on any EVM chain. And I think for sure we should be the first to get the first $1 billion in volume on chain. So yeah, basically for years, on-chain liquidity was mainly traded in AMMs, and I think now in previous year in the recent time, I think the gas becomes cheaper and cheaper and chains become faster. And of course, Sonic is, I think, number one here in being the cheapest chain to use and to launch apps. Sonic also has fee monetization, which is also kind of huge boost. And also Sonic has a really fast finality. So Sonic is really a nice place for a club DEX to kind of shine. And yeah, that's why we launched here. And I think we had a pretty remarkable journey. So we had very little incentives to begin with, and we get lots of organic volume. So currently, most of the volume comes from the DEX aggregators. So Trade was the first one to integrate us, and majority of our volume comes from them. And just recently, KyberSwap also integrate us as a liquidity source. And yeah, so basically just because we are club DEX, we managed to quote much more actively and much better than AMM DEXs. And yeah, I can speak more about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to know more about how you guys have acquired this massive pile of liquidity. If you're saying you were kind of like resistant to incentives early on, did I hear that correctly?
Not really resistant, but I don't think that they play like a major role. We also didn't launch a token yet. So if you look at some other protocols, I think liquidity is mostly tied to the token distribution. And once there is no token distribution, the liquidity might also dry out. And in our case, liquidity, I think, is more kind of sticky, and it is just there because it is just getting some yield from actual trading, if this makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Now, what kind of leverage can I do? Can I get it? Can I leverage on this?
So not yet, but we
Working on it.
are working on it and planning to show something before end of year. So speaking of some practical stuff that you can actually earn the normal returns. So actually, maybe I can screen share at this point.
Yeah, I've got the screen pulled up here, but if you want, I don't know if it gives you.
No, actually I have the same page. Yeah, so it's actually, so first of all, I'd like to boast on our spreads. I mean, actually I got some heat on Twitter for saying this, but if you look at I was looking at Binance as USDC pair, so it is not the most liquid on Binance, but when I was looking at it actually had similar kind of liquidity. So if you would trade like 50K USDC, I think on Express it would be cheaper than on Binance. But you also need to factor fees into account. So in our case, you pay 3 basis points of fees when you post market order. And on Binance, you typically pay more unless you are like a max tire market maker. So typically you would pay 7 to 10 basis points. So if you factor fees, I think actually our liquidity is like very, very decent. So yeah, first of all, if you just trade size, I think you can just try to do it from our UI and you would get one of the best possible executions out there. And now more of the fun part. So you can see there are some wicks on the chart. So this happens because our liquidity is still kind of being bootstraps. So we actively quote 50K each side, but then outside of 50K each side, it is a bit thin. So some smart guys are posting limit orders further away. And the fun part that they actually get filled from time to time. So imagine if you get filled, like you post like a limit order, like 10, 20% down at the current price. Then if there is a massive move, sometimes sellers would exhaust our dense liquidity. And then you might actually get some fills out there. So the guys on these kind of wigs, I don't know how to call it, so they can get instantly like 10-20% on sizes they post. So if you have some, it's hard to kind of say what is the APR on like posting limit orders far away from the price, but I think it's like very, very competitive, because I say you get filled like 20% down the actual market price for like 1K or 10K, then you like earned 20% in like basically in one trade. So I think that's pretty cool. And it's
So
basically zero.
you're saying that you have like really dense liquidity around like the trading price, like the market price, and then once that can get exhausted, and if someone is posting like orders like way far out there, they can get filled.
Yes. So sometimes when there is like huge activity, sometimes people are just desperate to like either buy or sell. It actually happens both ways, probably more on the sell side, but still. And so then you might actually get filled quite far away from the real price, because just people will send orders, and sometimes part of their order will not get filled in the kind of dense part. So they're like in real hurry. So yeah, I think it's not like a bug, it's just like a feature. So typically, I think if more people would know about this would get more competitive, and we would get like more even liquidity across the range. But for now, it is what it is. So I think for now, like very few guys understand how this works. So they are making the normal returns, and they are very quiet about it, because as long as they are alone, they earn more. And if more people know about it, then kind of the margins compress.
Well, we just blew up their spot, dude. You guys heard it here first, dude. If you go on Express, you can get some discount and premium prices on some of your assets if you're placing significantly out of range, huh?
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, usually this happens pretty rare, but when it happens, I mean, you can wait for a week and then you can get 10%. Like basically you don't have any risk on this order. So worst case, you would just not get filled. So you're just with your coins. So I think that's pretty fun. I just wanted to share, so like more guys can explore and try to earn out of it. So yeah, I just can't.
Cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask next about the vaults here, because I saw this BAT APY here. How do these vaults work? Where's the yield coming from? Just the fees?
So that's yeah. So basically, APY is like computed to be comparable to AMMs. So it basically assumes that you kind of earn the spread. So, and generally there are two sources of yields there. So first there is the spread, and then we give 1/3 of the fees to the vault. So approximately this number on this page, I think we need to kind of double check. I think it should be higher. It should be around 800 mil, closer to that. So this, I think, on the volume part. So basically, the vault should earn 1 basis point from this volume. So this kind of fee part is kind of irregular, but basically, I think vault earned about 80K in like fees from trading, basically. So like 1/3 of the trading fee goes to the vault, plus the trading P&L. I think trading P&L is generally positive, and we're actually should be earning spread. The way we checked it is that we looked on the markouts. So it's a bit technical term. So markouts is used like in high frequency trading, for example, to measure performance. So what it does is that we say we have some complex market making algo, but we want to kind of get an idea how is it trading. It is holding a basket, so it's not clear because weights of basket are changing and the assets inside the basket or prices are also moving. So by computing markouts, we compute how the price, basically how the trade performs for the next minute or 5 minutes after the trade. So for example, the vault sells somebody, and so the vault sells S or buys S from the user. And then in the markout, we measure how the S price would change in the 1 minute or 5 minutes after the trade. And then we kind of accumulate this. And we see that typically for Xpress, markouts are positive, which means that after the trade, the price kind of goes in the direction of the trade. Well, typically it means that we actually earn the spread. And in contrast, in most AMMs, when there is a trade, like AMM can say that it actually earned the fee. But what really happened is that AMM price was behind the centralized exchange's price, and somebody was just arbitraging AMM. And so even with the fee, the price was probably worse than it was than the real market price on, let's say, Binance, for example. So the AMM was arbitraged, and when you compute markouts, you would actually see that, because the markouts for AMMs would show negative values, which would mean that on average they're kind of losing immediately on each trade.
Interesting. That's a really interesting concept. I didn't really thought of that or heard of that. So you guys are saying that you guys are generally more in line with the market with the trades than typical AMMs?
Yeah, because actually we adjust quotes every few seconds or even.
I guess that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, because you guys are actually managing. It's an order book, so you guys are actually managing quote prices, bids and asks. Okay. Could you withdraw instantly, or is it any delay? It's a good question. I'm still thinking from this vault.
No, there is no delay. There is, however, a fee. So basically, this is like a multi-token vault. So you can put any token and remove any token. So because of that, if there was like zero fee at all, then you could actually kind of trade through the vault by putting one token and then withdrawing another. So because of that, there's like a fee system. It is similar to GLP. If you know, there was like a long time ago, there was a DEX GEMX which pioneered this multi-token liquidity token. And so basically there is like a small penalty, about I think 0.2%, something like this, if you shift the weights in non-favorable direction. So basically there is like target weights for the LP vault, and if you deposit or withdraw to make weights deviate more from the target, then you pay small commission, about 0.2%. And if you actually bring it to the equilibria, then commission is less or even zero. So, but there is no kind of no need to hold the token for a long time. It is fully liquid. So
awesome. So there you go. Still thinking. There's a fee if you are depositing and withdrawing like out of ratio for this basket of goods, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
if you come in, you mess up the ratio, you got to pay basically a small fee. Very cool. Yeah. Okay. Now I want to know, it seems like right now you guys have like a really great product here, this club, right? You guys are really tight with the spreads, effective with the execution. Fat juicy vault. What's next? Are you guys going to launch a token? Are you guys introducing perps, or are you doing something even crazier?
So the most kind of immediate thing in the next few weeks, probably. I always afraid to name exact timeline because then I fuck it up. But we are planning to improve our quoting engine so that it would be even cheaper to quote in gas. So I don't talk about this a lot, but we are actually one of the most kind of gas optimized clubs, and we really build the product from the ground up to be launched on chain. So some very hyped clubs were just rewriting club engines from the centralized exchanges, which I think is a wrong approach because on chain is very different. And so in the next few weeks, hope it will be 2 weeks, we would be improving our quoting engine and we would be able to quote even faster and cheaper. So yeah, it would practically mean more accurate prices, even less spread, if it's possible. So currently it's like just a few ticks wide. So maybe in that case, it would be just one tick as it is right now. And it should be also better performance for the LP vault, as the codes will be changed even more often. So the codes would be even better. So yeah, that's like most immediate thing. And then we're working on the perp offering. We hope to present it closer to the end of the year. And today we actually have like a small update. We're in the process of launching some community coins on Sonic. So Goggles pair is live today.
Wait, what's it called? Let me pull it up.
Goggles, I think that's pretty famous one on Sonic.
Oh man, this is really sick, dude. I mean, I'm excited to see what you guys have because it seems like you guys are really, I don't know, like, this product seems like very simple on the surface. It's like perfect. It's like simple on the surface, but it seems very complex underneath, right? Like I feel like anyone could use this. The vaults are simple, LPing is simple, trading is simple, swapping is simple. Kind of capturing that hyperliquid feel of like it's all fairly, I could come into here after working on Wall Street for 20 years and figure this out pretty quickly. So I'm stoked to see what else you guys got coming up with these community coins.
Yes, so we would experiment with with meme coins, and we'll try to bring more users from the front end, and and then eventually the kind of perps and margin trading should be the ultimate killer proposition here.
Oh yeah, dude. Once you get that, it's a lock, dude. See, this is what I'm saying, guys. Sonic is far from dead. Okay, we're still in this, baby. Okay, we got Express on our side. We can't lose. Sorry, I got to send a private message to the team here. But Express intern, I'm gonna have to let you go now. I think this was a really good presentation. I feel quite bullish about Express, and so I'm going to assume that the audience does as well. We hope to hear from you again soon, especially when those perps come up, or really anything. If you're ever free, just come back, dude. It was great chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you, and everyone is welcome to try and trade through our front end from time to time. So limit orders are free. Last airdrop season, I think everyone who pressed the button and interacted got like 200 Sonic or something.
God.
Yeah, because most of the volume was from aggregators, but we wanted to reward the guys who actually interacted with the platform in the first hand. So yeah, please do.
Hell yeah. All right. I feel like you guys have been flying under the radar for a little too long. Guys, check out Express. Thank you again, Express intern. We'll catch you later. And now we're going to move along into, well, where do I want to go next? Funeral, are you there? Funeral's been muted this whole time, waiting patiently.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about Express. I don't know anything about it. We should definitely talk about the state of affairs.
Okay, yeah. Let's start there. Well, let me check out my... Okay, so... Okay, yeah, let's start there. Let's start with this. The team has landed in Korea. Okay, that's what my notes show here. This is what my team has provided to me. Is where's this? It's like my first time using StreamYard, dude. Okay, the team is in Korea. For the first time, they've not assaulted people with their merch. They haven't chucked it at people's heads and the like. But this is kind of like Funeral. Stop me if I'm wrong, but like it feels like there's been like a cataclysm, and this is like one of the first few things we've been hearing from the team. So it's got me thinking that something big is coming in Asia, dude.
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think that when it comes to social media, when you have something going on, you need to start making noise on the internet about it. And so many teams are in Korea right now. It's just a good look to be a part of that, to show, hey, we are also
part of the club
in Korea. I don't think this alludes to any sort of like announcement. I think it's just more so, hey, everyone's talking at this event. We're also showing up.
So you kind of view, I guess I mean like the summit, like having like a separate event that they want to like really blow it up. Because like I see the value of that, but like having a summit I don't like your own little con. It doesn't seem like that valuable unless you really want to like push a message, right?
The message
But
is
then
Sonic,
again,
right? They're trying to push
yeah.
their tech. I think that's the big push. You know, they've got so many people over there already. They're putting up a big sign saying, "Look at me."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so. It's try to attract more attention here in Korea. I also have lists here. They're revealed media partners for Singapore. We have a nice little list here. We got some big names on there. But I mean, the real fact of the matter here is like this is the kind of stuff. All right, I guess why I'm fixated on Singapore is one because I'm going, and two because it seems like it's like the one opportunity we have here to really flip sentiment around. And by we, I mean the labs, not me, because I don't have any control over what they do. What do you think, Funeral? Because it's been pretty brutal on the timeline, dude. We've had teams shutting down. We've had people leaving, tantrums. Prices never been worse.
Event marketing is good marketing. I think that it really depends on the intention. I like when people get together to share ideas. Hopefully, this is exactly what that is. People just coming together to talk about what's next. And, you know, people are always asking when marketing, what is good marketing? This is a lot better for me in terms of time spent, right? We've got
Mm-hmm.
a lot of effort happening, but seeing them actually try to do a summit. But the one critique I will say is that I think it's too close to in time to the Vienna summit. I think maybe establishing an annual cadence to it would have been cool. I'm
I guess
interested
like
to see what that cadence is.
it seems to me like their approach is more of like trying to crack open these markets. So they're trying to like use this as like one of the wedges to kind of open it up. Obviously, like there's lots of. Let's talk marketing a little bit. Funeral. You're a marketer, right? You're familiar with marketing.
I've heard of it.
Lots of crypto people talk about marketing, but a lot of them don't really seem to understand what it is because marketing isn't necessarily just like posting tweet threads or having points programs or like a Kaido, whatever, right? A lot of it is kind of like this building like the image or whatever. So like I'm totally cool with that, but I also feel like a lot of times, I guess the feeling here from the community is that a lot of times it doesn't feel like the labs team is like targeted. And this is to your point that like the Singapore summit is pretty close after Vienna. So it kind of just feels like we had a good idea. So we're doing it again. But it's not like we really thought deeply about like who we're getting here. But then again, we're not in the inside. So it's hard to say, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Again, it's that cadence about the summit. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's very geographic and they're trying to unlock different regions of trading. You know, maybe they'll go to Turkey and try to tap into the big trading market that's there.
Mm-hmm.
Korea, they're already trying there as well.
Oh yeah, why hasn't there been a Sonic? What is it in Turkey? Constantinople, Istanbul, Sonic Istanbul. That should be the next one.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're
Thanks,
welcome,
dude.
Labs. Yeah, marketing is my whole life, right? Like
Mhm.
attention, adoption, trust. Name of the game here. Latching on to trends, people take that like do too much of that. Like we see Homeland Security posting Pokemon cards of people. Memeing is not always good. Like, you know, like if you are trying to sell a product, there are so many different ways to go about it. And in this space, when we champion behind decentralization, it's hard to see marketing happening from a decentralized entity because marketing is a very centralized effort. And it kind of falls onto the community of builders to be the marketing. And you really have to ignite that fire in people. That's why you have Ethereum being the staple that it is. You had people adopting the tech, using the tech, expanding on it, And the right now, I guess the more devs and good builders, healthy builders you have on the chain, the better chance you have at other retail adopting your chain, because they have other stuff that's being built and people getting excited. Right now, Solana's kind of eating everyone's lunch at new developers year over year. Even Ethereum, like you'll see proportionally, there's just so many people trying out that chain now.
I
So
think,
again, like I'm not, like, to your point, we're not in that room. We don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, because to your point, like, it's like, what group are you targeting with the marketing, right? Like, so Solana is really popular with, I mean, Solana is just kind of winning in the marketing department, I would say, because it's pulling in retail and it's pulling in like more devs than ever, like you said. And I think the problem here is on Sonic. There's not really like a strong clarity of vision in terms of like, who do we even want to onboard, right? Like, do we want, like, I guess the focus has been on builders recently, and I guess that's paying off, but it's also like a chicken and the egg problem, right? You got to have both. And like, who do you want the users to be? Do you want it to be like Kaido yappers chasing $5 payouts, or do you want it to be big money firms? Do you want it to be all of them? I mean, these are all different groups of people with different risk tolerances or different desires.
Kaido is an interesting topic. I mean, I think that this cycle is way less. There's way less of an emphasis on what's happening on X exclusively. I think last cycle and the cycle before, it really was the town square of people exchanging these ideas. But this industry has expanded to, like, especially for me in the US, I see a lot of change happening in terms of it being easier to talk about these things without having to watch your language, and be easier to get guidance to launch from more official entities. I think that the adoption isn't, obviously not everyone that you hit on the street is going to have a fraction of Bitcoin in their portfolio, but we're still at a point where the ideas are expanding, and you can't just shoot fish in a barrel in X and win. There's so many more platforms that people are using to stay on the pulse now. So the game has changed this cycle versus last.
Yeah, and to Egg's finance point, it's actually not always the case in the industry. I don't know if he's saying that about this, but I'm assuming he is. And it's not always the case in this industry that like you're confused about who you're targeting, right? Like, if you have a big enough organization, you can target multiple groups of people, but you have concerted efforts and channels that target that specific group of people, right? And it seems like because we were like really focused on X, it's just really not playing out, because I agree with you, Funeral. X is not the hub it used to be. It's full of a lot more garbage than ever before. Like, it's just like, there's a lot more signal to noise now. And so, like you're saying, right? Like, if I want to meet crypto people, if I want to meet people that are developers or whatever, there's a lot more official channels to go through now that are a lot more reputable. And I can bypass crypto culture of like X, right? Like, I don't need to go there.
But that was more of a critique on Kaido itself and the adoption that it's gotten. I understand it's useful to incentivize attention and that.
Well, wait, can I cut you off here actually? Because this is a good point, actually. Is like the Kaido incentivization is super interesting to me, because I've had this idea for a while that like incentivizing behavior is not necessarily, it's not simple, and it's not going to give you the results you want all the time, right? Like, the classic one is, yes, I hated the AI slop threads. The thing is, like, have you ever heard of the Cobra effect, or I think it's like the Cobra paradox or some shit? The story goes that in India, the British Empire, when they took over the government or whatever, it's complicated. I think they took over the government, whatever. They made a lot of laws, right? And one of the laws, or one of the things, they took a lot of like social like programs. They put a lot of social programs in place, often just to make things easier for them. But I don't know why I'm doing so much fucking carrying water for them. Basically, they did this. There was a lot of cobras in India, venomous cobras. And so the British, they were like, we got to get rid of these venomous cobras. They're killing people all the time. So what they did is they put a bounty system out for cobras, right? They were like, we'll pay you guys $50 for every dead cobra you bring us, right? Makes sense.
Then people
And
start breeding cobras.
People start breeding cobras and the cobra numbers grow, right? Now, interestingly enough, I've heard this example kind of be used to say, like, that's why we should make it legal to do big game hunting, because then people won't be poaching. We'll be incentivizing people to breed. But the point still stands. There's kind of incentivization. We see it in this industry a lot, right? Where people get toxic results as a result of their incentivization programs, which is Kaido AI slop threads, which are not good for your brand because you're filling up. You may get awareness, but the awareness people are getting is scammy and stupid.
Or outdated. A lot of these models that people are using to automate their content writing might not have the biggest news of a brand or a protocol top of mind. If you read someone who's actually on the pulse and you read a thread from them, it's so fast, this industry, that if it's about something that happened last month, no one cares. So that's what you'll get. And you also, you have for the first time, there were so many bots and botting activities that were getting flagged and banned from X. But now with the adoption of Grok, it's almost encouraged. So you have almost the complete opposite thing happening, where you had any automated X account that was trying to pretend to be a KOL last cycle was getting taken down because it was an automated account. Now that's being championed as the future of content writing in a way. So we do have a different playing field that we're operating on as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out. Sorry, I'm confused by what's happening to my screen here. It's like there's just like a black bar, whatever. Anyway,
can we get derps in the chat?
Yeah, let's get some derps in the chat.
Yeah, I want to see a bunch of derps.
Kaido just reminds me when people Twitter. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's Twitter. It's when you buy bot followers to reply. I mean, it's what it results in, right? Unfortunate. But let's get some derps in the chat. And let's pivot here. We've been talking. I love talking to you, Funeral, because we get to talk about abstract stuff. More like, it's important stuff, right? Though. Like, does the Twitter messages show? Yes, 24. I can see your message. But we got some other stuff I want to cover before. I can't go too long, but let me hit these questions before we move on. Is the event going to be streamed? Singapore is going to be streamed. Wait, no, it's not going to be streamed, but it will be uploaded afterwards. I'll try to live tweet stuff if I can. I'll be working, so I don't know if I'll be able to. Yankee Ruin says, doesn't that prove it's not about the tech and more about what the audience is? That has always been the case across any industry at any time. Ever, always. Thoughts, Funeral?
Yeah, if the name of the game is decentralization, back to I'm an old head. I like to believe that we could actually have decentralized networks when the name of the game is adoption and trying to get as many validators as possible. We need as many people as possible.
So I'm gonna challenge that assumption there. Is that the name of the game? Is the name of the game truly decentralization? Because it doesn't seem like anyone is playing it that way anymore.
Well, Solana is trying to put the next phase of the internet on financial rails, in my opinion. I look at Ethereum as the settlement layer for banks and people getting their paychecks. I don't necessarily think that people are going to go to a Solana for that, for obvious reasons. Your money can't turn off.
But you're saying they might play Roblox on Solana. They might watch
exactly
on Solana. They might do some Amazon shopping on Solana.
But Sony
or Sonic, dude. Why not believe for once?
Well, Sonam is an interesting play. They have the support of Sony. Is that going to be the future hub for on-chain PlayStation games? I'm not too sure, but it's more possible now that there is a Sonam, and then it puts people into this headspace of thinking. It's like, all right, what's stopping Apple from having their own chain, running their gift cards on it as a settlement layer? Maybe not Apple token, but I could see that being a means of preventing gift card fraud I think that
That's
they have more money
interesting.
than most banks, so I don't think they would need to rely on someone to give them liquidity for that. So why would they need to build on Ethereum or you know, there's tons of ways to think about that in terms of like the Roblox example. But
Mhm.
I think that different chains are playing different games.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the question is like, what game are we playing, right? I think that's what we got to find out, and hopefully we'll be finding it out this week. Corey Boy says, "What's the next stage for Sonic, guys? How can we get killer DApps fast to get the users fast?" I don't think the speed is the problem. I think if you want people on the chain, you need to give them like a better toy to play with. That's the next stage for Sonics, is a better toy to play with. I feel like everyone's pinning their hopes on Flying Tulip, but I feel you, Crypto Miner. I didn't really get any yaps, and I post about pretty much just Sonic stuff. Anyway, but let's talk a little bit more about the suffering that's going on too. This made me really sad, dude. This bummed me out. For the memories, Sonic and Ruggy, dude. No, dude.
That was a hard thing to watch. So for everyone who doesn't know, they had some whales dump and just empty their bags and took their liquidity down to pretty much nothing. And then Stinky had made some people whole that, you know, they got dumped on, like Stinky did. I did too. I still hold 30 million Ruggy tokens, and I'm not like, and this kind of like speaks to me. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna hold those forever. I'm not gonna go to Stinky's DMs and be like, my $2. But like, I'm like, you know, I'm more, you know, they posted that. I think that Ruggy and Ruggle Games is gonna live on forever. I think people are still gonna see the Ruggy brand. I think Stinky is an amazing dev, a great project leader. He's going to continue to build and do cool things.
I'm confident.
Yeah, 100%. I think that not every project needs a token. I think they could survive without one. I think they could definitely regroup and reform.
Mm-hmm. I think so too, dude. I think we're flip-flop here on the GM Sonic podcast. We're always opposed to Andre Cronje. When Andre Cronje says a token is the product, we say no, sir. It's too late for that.
Well, no, okay. Not every project needs a token. Like, for example, I don't know, Tech Deck doesn't need a token. Like,
no.
Kanye West doesn't need a token.
I'm busting your balls, dude. I totally agree with you. There are definitely, a big problem in crypto is every dipshit launches a token. And like, because again, talking about the shifting trends in our markets, right? I think it was Ansem or someone who posted a long form. I read a long form post last night, like 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. And they were talking about how, back in the day, dude, in 2020, 2021, you launch a token, there's your $100,000, dude. There you go. Easy money, easy money, right? So everyone did it all the time and everyone got in the bad habit of doing it. But in reality, I think if you got a good enough product with good enough revenue, there's no point in launching a token unless you're using it to like expand revenue. You know what I mean? It's like a whole project in and of itself, you know?
Yeah, there's so many different reasons to want a token. Like if you want governance, if you want to share responsibility and opinion, you could do that. With Derp, it was more of experimenting with an idea that I wanted people to be able to press a button and get tokens instead of getting fake points like they were getting on Tron. So I was like, okay, well, I definitely don't want to give people Sonic because that's insane. So in those instances, I could understand needing your own token for that. Or if you're in a community and you have a community token, using that token for your product.
So my point is that these seem to be projects that you're describing where the token is like the central part of it. I'm talking about like your Tech Deck example, or I'm trying to think of like other examples in crypto. To be honest, I still don't quite understand why Hey Anon needs a token. Like if it's an agent, can I just pay him in USDC for the compute? Like is it like an unnecessary step or?
Yeah, is it going to be session tokens, right? Like kind of how other AI agents work where you need to buy tokens to use the model. That I don't understand. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm kind of skeptical
Now-
on that.
Now, I not to FUD Danny or whatever. I'm sure it's great or whatever, but just my thoughts. Stinky says Ruggie made zero revenue for the team, launched with 100 Phantom from 2 devs not used for fundraising. So I don't mean to imply that everyone that launches a token is doing it for profit. But what I'm getting at is we have this habit in the industry, especially been around for a while. If you see someone launch a token for a good reason, right? Just in general, you think it's a little sketchy, right? It's a little sketchy. I don't know if I want it. But that's a complete change from how it used to be, where everyone just bought everything. So my point being this. Guys like Ruggie, they're not making a fuckload of money, dude. No one is just buying tokens anymore. They're doing like a fun little thing. And what's sad about it to me is the economy of the network could not support it, which is very, very bearish to me in the short term, at least. But I do think things are turning around. Andre Cronia says Sonic needs less whiny bitches. I agree.
And just to be clear, this is not to criticize Ruggie for having a token. I think that I'm criticizing people for thinking the Ruggie token should go up. Like, I think that having a token to use raffles and to use the great tech that Stinky has built, having a token to do that makes sense. But if you're like overexposed to a token that is prime use case is to use cool games and have a raffle, you have false expectations of what that is. Yeah. Like, so I just want to be clear in that. Like, I still think everything that Stinky built was amazing. He's helped so many projects, and I'm just reading guys' comment here now.
Yeah, no. He says it's good points, funeral, especially for future devs. Maybe you don't need a token. Save yourself the headache. I mean, the thing is, Ruggies might have worked if they're with a token if the economy of the network could support it. But just in general, basically what I'm getting at is, guys, if you're out here and you're a blockchain developer and you have the opportunity and you can make a product that is generating revenue, think a good long couple hours about whether or not you need a token. This is kind of even just separate from even the Ruggies point. But all I wanted to say is R.I.P. Ruggies, okay? R.I.P. Ruggies.
R.I.P. Ruggies.
R.I.P. Ruggies.
Ruggies is going to live through the derp universe forever. I'm always going to make callbacks because Stinky is, again, it's just a dev I respect, a builder that I think is doing some cool shit. And yeah.
Right on. Well, speaking of derp, can you tell me about DerpQuest, dude? Can you tell me some more about it? I made 2 guys. I made a sexy elf wizard.
Yeah, definitely pull up the website. Let's get a screen going here.
All right, let's do this here. How do I do this again?
So DerpQuest.
Oh wait, dude. Oh man. Holy shit, dude. Dude, you got to rename, dude. DerpQuest is the username of Cody Townsend, who is a gamer, mechanic, and video editor on Twitch. So sorry. Oh wait, you don't even see this. Yeah, sorry, dude. It's over, bro. All right, but what's the URL for real?
I don't care. I have an on-chain game that runs on a derp token with on-chain SVGs. I'll look into DerpQuest. I don't think that he has like a trademark on that.
No, dude, I'm just fucking with you, dude. It doesn't matter. I just think it's funny that some no-name guy gets like a whole AI summary on him because his username is DerpQuest. It's so stupid. His claim to fame is he's a mechanic and a gamer, dude. You should be fucking mocking him. The search engines are completely fucked. But anyway, here we're on DerpQuest. Now what?
So
dude?
DerpQuest has been in the works for so long, months, but it's also on the back of what we had started building on for the cult. And this is how ideas work, right? I had the cult going for a while. People really rallied behind derps. I took all the cool shit I was building for that, and I was like, how do I reposition it? There will definitely be a similar thing dropping, or like the cult will be involved in this. We're going to expand on different characters. If you scroll down on the website, there's a race, that's a mystery. We're going to keep adding races. The classes are going to stay the same, I believe, because it's really just fixed around true Dungeons and Dragons mechanics. So you could use your derp character in a campaign with your friends who are, playing D&D. But yeah, we've been working on this for a really long time. We wanted to figure out how, one, to get on-chain custom derps. This started from a place from the Derpifier where when different holidays or events were happening, you could put different accessories on your derp, have fun with that. And I thought it'd be interesting to have that happen on chain in a way that wasn't like, hey, buy a shirt, or because I didn't want to create a liquidity hole for derp in that way. I didn't want people to feel like, oh, I got to keep buying stuff for my derp. But this way you can compete in quests, or complete quests rather, to earn new gear. And that is gear that you can equip. Different swords, different, crowns, books, outfits. There will be enchanted gear airdropped to derp holders. A lot of people were like, this has nothing to do with derp. If you feel like this has nothing to do with holding a derp, there will be exclusive gear airdropped to all of the derp holders. And it is 100 derp as a base price to mint a basic character. And that's what you claim every day through the button. So every day you can claim your derp, start a new character, try a different build, see if that is your playing style. We have a map system worked out where we've built out regions. So when you were building your character, I'm sure you realized different people can be from different regions. And that's going to be having to do with the rate at which you can mine resources. And then those resources are used for more gear. And this is just a cool way for us to have daily quests, weekly quests, collaborations with other people in the ecosystem. We could tap in people like you who are passionate about D&D and maybe want to host a quest or give us some ideas on lore.
Dude, I'd love to. I'd love to host a quest, dude. I'd love to run a campaign. I'd love to run a module. I'd run to love a module, dude.
With the next iteration of it will be the actual daily quests. And
what D&D rule are you guys going to use? You using a D&D? D&D 3, 4, 3.5, 2, advanced?
With the most vanilla. We want it to be like pretty basic for people to grip onto. But again, it's also linked to like derp lore and not necessarily D&D lore. So it's going to be interesting. Like these mountains, or the mountain of dude, these certain things that kind of call out certain memes in the ecosystem. Even on the character sheets, the eggs intern pointed out that the stats shapes, I made those golden eggs. I always try to like ingrain memes into the project so that they live on the blockchain forever.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm like really stoked to play it, man. I'm curious about the idle game too. So like, is it going to just be like a little map I just send them out to mine, or is it like multiple resources?
Yes, you would send, depending on the region you're from, your class and your race, you're going to mine different resources at different rates. And you will need all of the resources to get the gear. So there will be exchanging of resources, and that'll happen on Paint Swap. People can earn like let's say you get airdropped enchanted gear. Maybe you want to sell that. You can do that if you want, which I think is going to be super interesting to see play out, because it's, at the end of the day, it's something that people are getting for free. They can mint a DerpQuest character for that 100 derp that they're getting for holding a derp, and now they're getting all these items. And I've seen a crazy market happen with the special event items, and that's always cool to see play out. People like coveting different ones, different cards. So this is a way that we can actually have items that impact your stats, different items that allow you to be better in the game. We want you to earn them in the game, and you can sell them to other people, right? It's not in a situation where you have to buy them.
Dude, I like that, dude. Give people the opportunity. Even the poor people can play D&D with me.
Yes, I'm bringing D&D to Corval on chain. That's the whole mission here. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I like seeing what people use the tools for. People are using DerpQuest characters as a naming service right now because DerpQuest characters are a name exclusive. Like you can only have one name paired to one ID, and if someone tries to make a Corval character, it'll say error. You can't mint that. So you could be Jeff Bezos, and you could park the Jeff Bezos derp in case he wants to hop and play a campaign or something.
We should get the guys from Critical Role to participate. That might be something. Might be hard to get. They're kind of famous, aren't they?
They might like it though. It's just like a really accessible art style put on a very complex game, and it is less intimidating, I think, that when you have like character sheets in D&D. If you hand someone an official character sheet, like they might be like, "Wow, this is a lot. I didn't know I was like taking a test." But if you just give them like a derp quest character, it's like, sick. Okay, this is my elf.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think is it gonna be on mobile?
It's mobile first. Yeah, this time we went mobile first.
Oh yeah, this is gonna work well, dude. On the
with Burp
challenging
Dash,
people in the streets.
Just show people like, oh, like yeah. I was
just my phone to show my derp and say, "You're ready to battle a wizard."
Literally, this is me. Yeah, I was at the bar the night of launch. I was going up to my friends. I was like joking. I was like, "This is me. This is me as a wizard. I'm a mage. What are you? You're nothing. You ain't got shit,
dude. Not even a derp, dude. Not even derped up.
Yeah, you're not even derped up.
And I was looking at like the timeline here, your roadmap. Things are gonna be moving quite quickly here. So we're gonna get these daily, weekly quests coming next month. Those are like little mini campaigns.
Yes, that's more of the idle thing where you'll see different ones available to you. Mm-hmm. You can complete them.
Awesome. Well, dude, I'm totally looking forward to that. We're definitely gonna do that live on air when that happens. But I should have organized this show a little bit better because we should have talked about this right after we talked about the prices being all fucked. Is that crypto liquidations hit 1.8 billion in a day? Did you see that, dude? This is what drove the price down. Apparently, this guy Blub, I'll give him a follow back for this post. It's a good one. People love to blame Wintermute, but they received 50 million S and sent some to Sexes for market making, but they didn't really drive the price drop. It looks like it was Aave and Silo liquidations that caused the drop down to 23. So good entry if you need it. Bad exit if you were looking to, I don't know, buy some Labubus or whatever. I have like a funny video, but like we're kind of like getting close to time. How are you on time, Funeral?
I'm good. I blocked out till 2 for this, but
okay. Wait, that's like another like 20 minutes or so. Okay, so let's talk about some general news first. Congratulations to those of you that have been raptured today. If you haven't been raptured, better luck next time. I just thought this was like a funny news story, particularly when like the timeline was melting down. It did feel like the end of the world, dude. Like everyone on Sonic is like, it's the end of the fucking world. And then I go on like TikTok and it's some crazy white lady telling me that the end of the world is happening tomorrow. Get right with God. Do you see this, dude? South African preacher claimed to see Jesus Christ in a vision, suggested the rapture is upon us, and people on TikTok went berserk, dude.
I'm used to people posting about seeing Jesus in their toast, but not like this.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of indicative of the psycho structure of the world right now, where people are really scared and expecting cataclysm.
If there's not a poly market about it, it's not real. Like if people aren't betting on this, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. I do think it's interesting, and I want to point this out that like I forget what it's called. Like people calling for the end of the world is like a really common thing, right? Like it's happened a lot throughout history, and it's happening so much now. Like we have people like screaming about the economy going to be completely obliterated. Yeah, Zorkblatt, this is my point. Is the rapture seems to happen every few years. 2012, nuclear war. It's just always something, dude. I don't believe it.
It was
Obviously,
a
I don't believe
misprint.
them. Yeah.
It's like Parks and Recreation. Were you a fan of that show?
Yeah, I love that little horse. The little horse from that show.
Yes. But there's
Like
this
that
cult that they're like, they keep on saying like, oh, the world's ending next year. It wasn't this year. Fuck, we got it wrong. We got to reschedule this.
I forget who it was. There's a cult leader. So like, there's a couple like cult leaders that did that were like in real life that were kind of funny, like where they just kind of like kept pushing the deadline back. But there's one, I think it might have been the Heaven's Gate guys, where it's like the date came and nothing was happening. So they're like, oh, well, we just got to kill ourselves, actually. Like, they were like, we're going to make it happen, dude. Everyone here's world is ending today, whether or not the cult is right. Crazy stuff.
Ship it now.
Literally. All right. So I've got another funny kind of like general news thing here. Also, this is more crypto focused. So I've never even seen this account before. Ever. Honey. You ever seen this? It's a swing trader.
I don't follow this account, but I've been seeing people unfold.
She kind of looks like my landlady, like my leasing agent. This is crazy. I'm gonna go confront her later today. So, but you've been seeing this on the timeline, right?
Yes.
So, for context, tell me if I'm wrong here. This lady has, I guess, been talking about her shorts that she's opened up on like Bitcoin and Ethereum for a good long while. She's talking about how she's held these positions for a month and that she was doubting her conviction, but she won, and so she's happy. And so she's going to be concentrating on altcoins for the Q4. She's doing like analyst shit, right? Like she's like a pro trader or whatever. And then she provides like her entry price and the mark price, right? Showing that, she did short at this price and held it till this mark, right?
Right. But she's doing it.
Dude, this is the kicker, bro.
Yeah.
Tell them, Funeral.
So this person runs two accounts, one bull, one bear, and they bid $10 in both directions. Their positions are only $10. Like they write these like lengthy threads about how they're like shaking in their boots about their positions, but it's literally nothing. It's like no money that's on the line.
Yeah, like she's doing the thing. I'm gonna. Everyone knows that traders on Twitter do this, where they'll like make a call and then they delete the posts that are wrong, right? They'll be like, we're going higher and we're going lower, and they delete the one that says we're going lower when they go higher, right? This chick is doing it just with like P&Ls, dude, and just like very small amounts. Very funny. Did you know, Funeral, on YouTube, there's a whole segment of videos, like a huge portion of videos, gigabytes, maybe even terabytes of video, where it's announcing the death of a celebrity, and the person has it for every single day in the year, and they have them all privated, and then they private it when the person does die, and the video is like from 5 years ago, so that a bunch of people will go to the channel and they'll be like, this guy is so smart. He called, like, how did he know that Bruce Willis was going to die 5 years ago? That's the kind of thing these guys are doing with P&Ls.
Yeah, that's what people are doing with Pump.Fun also.
Yes. So I don't trust anyone's P&L except for mine, okay?
Everyone's, bro, like anyone who's put, like, not everyone, right? But like, don't go in here thinking that everyone's dunking on you and making more money than you. Like, just for the like listeners out there, a lot of these people are LARPing. Like, a lot of these people are just, in a very similar situation where they're trying to get access to a generational opportunity.
Look, I'm going to say this straight up, bro. Straight up. This is common street sense, real knowledge coming to you, dude. If you're out here killing it on trades every day, every month, I'm locking in $100,000 in profits every week, or you're some kind of god trader, you have a system, you worked it out, why the fuck would you sell that? Like, why would you ever waste your time trying to teach people how to trade? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to make you any more money. It's The classic line is, those who can do, those who can't teach. And that's why I host an informational podcast. So that's my point for them.
Yeah, I avoid the last trading Discord I was in 2020, I think, maybe like 2019, 2020. And I just realized I was like, it's so easy for these people to just tell me like to buy something, tell everyone in the Discord to buy it. Maybe they have a long open or whatever, and they're just not only like charging some people for exclusive access to these other channels, but they're also just dunking on everyone who they're giving advice to, or manipulating the market with the waves of people that are going to put price pressure on like a specific asset if you can long or short it. So I don't know. I'm not as much of a trader. I think like I have so much PTSD that like I'm always kind of looking at charts and seeing how things are going. But yeah, I don't think anyone should really fall into that trap of paying a subscription to get access to be someone else's exit liquidity.
Yeah, that's madness. Now, some courses are probably okay, right? Like there's probably some stuff you can learn from people, but when it's someone who's like just constantly showing you their P&L, they're obviously doing that for a reason, right? They're trying to FOMO you, manipulate you. Except when I do it, I'm just proud. I just want to show off that I'm 20%.
It's like a gold sticker. You're like, I did
yeah,
it.
like I finally did it. I finally made money. So let's talk a little bit about. I don't really know about Covalent. Okay, do you know about Covalent? Is this an Oracle? Oh my god, I'm going to come back to this, dude. I should have done more research. Shadow's UI has refreshed. This is quite cool. Let's actually take a look at it. Well, this looks the same.
No, when you scroll down a little bit more. Like
okay, wait. It is actually a little bit kind of like the glow effect here, the light up. Okay. Okay, I see what you're doing here. 24, I see what you're doing here. You're bringing swag to Shadow.
PaintSwap had also done some restructuring for their links so that PaintSwap.io goes to more of a landing page.
Oh yeah.
You used to go right to the NFT marketplace. Now it kind of gives a breakdown of what else they're doing. Good.
I'm still bullish on PaintSwap. I'm pretty much as bullish on all the teams where I've met the developers and I like them. So I'm bullish on PaintSwap. I think they epitomize them and like Beethoven just been building nonstop through like pain and suffering. Really, anyone, Equalizer, Metro, anyone building through all this pain and suffering, SwapX. You got my respect, kid. Okay. Let's see here. Anything else? Okay, the last thing I got is this video I found that I thought was kind of funny. Do you want to do a react stream to it, like where Logan Paul or something?
Oh, I've seen this.
I don't think
there's a great comment. The best comment on that is like it's always two girls just looking at each other saying exactly.
Yeah, if it's two dumbass girls telling each other exactly. It really is funny too when you see like, because we all know that references. It's like this. It's like a specific type of girl where they're like talking and they'll just say like like why is water even like wet? Like how can it be wet? That's even maybe too clever. Yeah. Okay. So
is water wet or does water make you wet?
Can water be wet? That's a good question.
So when I'm researching a company and I want to get into a trade, and then I see something like this, I'm going to try to ChatGPT and Google what is this date, which this date was July 25th.
So I want to point out, like, even this already makes her a better trader and investor than like 95% of the retards I see on X. Like the fact that she said something happened here, let me go look and see what happened here instead of just spazzing out on the timeline is like beautiful. I think it's funny.
This morning, someone shared a picture of the Aster dev, and he's got like a chiseled jaw, and people are just being like the dev has a jawline like this, and you're fading, and it's like that's pretty much the extent of research that's happening. They're like, all right, who's building this? Do they look like a chump? Are they Chad?
Yeah, dude, for real. So like, it's kind of funny that we even think that we can judge this. To be honest, this lovely woman educating her friend.
Go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT what happened July 25th.
It's also awesome because the it gets is so worthless.
Amazon stock slipped approximately 3% in the company-specific of pullback tech stock.
Echoing. I don't think I can even play this because of the echo. We'll have to figure that out. But anyway, I think you guys get it. It's hot babes learning how to trade. So I'll let you guys decide if that's a top signal or not.
It's not a song. It's not quite, that's retail. That's retail coming to buy our bags.
Oh, yeah. Except she was talking about trading Amazon stock, so she may not even be coming here, dude. Unfortunately. But, I want to know how you guys are feeling now about Sonic. You guys I feel like the day after I had food poisoning, cautiously optimistic, Funeral. What about you?
I think the tech is here, the liquidity's here, the base here, the average over. It is like a lot of people in the chat were saying adoption. I think at this point, I'm very bullish at 24. I think that relying solely on the centralized team to guide the way is not necessarily how Ethereum grew, and it's certainly not how Bitcoin grew. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the midst of everyone kind of like yelling at each other. I'm just sitting here like watching DerpQuest. So I'm just perma bull, just building with like a long-term horizon. It's just, a lot of people get caught up in maximalism and they don't have a healthily balanced portfolio. I don't, because I make, a lot of my priority being active on Sonic as a founder of a project that people have conviction in. I make it my business to pay attention to this chain more so than I pay attention to other chains. But that doesn't mean like I don't have like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Aster, Solana in my portfolio, if you're in poor spirits, you're not experiencing some of these runs that are happening on some of these assets. Maybe it's time to reassess like your risk and like tolerance and how that reflects in your portfolio. Like I have some, you can see in the derp Discord, some derps obviously are getting caught up in the timeline. They spend their time online as much as I do, maybe even more. But the sentiment on the timeline gets to people, and like there are derps coming for my throat, and it's like I'm building all of the time. So if you're upset, maybe you are getting like a little backsplash of that of that emotional thing. But the last thing that I put in the Discord was, I'm personally loaded to the teeth with Sonic, mainly because of how much of my time goes into derp and building derp and how that results in me making more Sonic. And so of course I have a lot of Sonic, but I'm also a different kind of person. I'm holding 30 million Ruggie token and not really like thinking about it, I'm buying things with a different intention. So yeah, the sentiment I think is very, very grim, but that's not euphoria. I made a joke of that the day that our boy Sarge went to war or went into the battlefields. I jokingly posted that day, well, this is definitely not what euphoria is. And you have to think about market cycles and how typically we hit our peaks in November, early December every 4 years. And this is maybe a bit of a different cycle, but I think that if you're seeing pain on the timeline and you've been active this whole time and you haven't been like experiencing like pants shitting gains at least like one of your assets. And what I mean by that is like a 2 to 10x, like that's something that like you get in a short time here that you simply don't get in a lot of traditional markets unless you're betting on Circle and Coinbase and like related assets that retail are using to get exposure to this. Like, I think that, like, you know, this is, if you look at the emotional sways and the waves of the cycle, is kind of in the script. I think that people are going to be in pain, and we're going to see another rally in alts. If we'll get swept, I mean, obviously we'll get swept into that to a degree, but I think that, yeah, a lot of people are just hyper focusing on one bag and not really balancing their portfolio a lot. That might be getting to them too.
Yeah, I think the issue here is it's all an emotional thing. It's a lot of people with a lot of different lifestyles, a lot of different goals, a lot of different interests, right? A lot of different needs. So like, I agree that like most people are probably not engaging in crypto in the way that they should be in terms of investing, and that like they're probably way over allocated, and they're probably way over allocated to a select group of favorites, and which could be fine, right, if you're realistic about the risk you're undertaking. But I don't know, it just seems to me that like a lot of people seem to be either betting with money that they shouldn't be with their fucking rent money, or they're have like an unrealistic, or it's a realistic emotional response to seeing that a lot of your money has disappeared. But I do find it funny that it often does seem to be like, not funny, it makes sense in a way. You know, the classic joke in crypto is the most angry person is the person who has lost the least. You know, like I've worked customer service roles in this industry before, you know, fielding Discord reply tickets or whatever. And it's always funny how like the people that are the most rude, aggressive, and overbearing are the ones that have lost like $10. Whereas the guy that's lost $10,000, $100,000 is oftentimes more understanding. Like, yep, that I put $100,000 into this and I knew the risks, you know. But
yeah, I think that
it doesn't feel good to lose money.
People don't like to lose money. That's a fact. I think that people look and get into this a majority of the time because they look at this as like our generation's way to capitalize on our education habits and knowledge to outsmart the generation before. And now we're just a couple cycles in where the other people that you are planning on using as exit liquidity, right? Like at the end of the day, if you're looking to sell and make money, you're hoping that a lot of people buy after you. And what people aren't seeing is that a lot of that money that's trying to get exposure to on-chain assets and this generational means of financial growth, retail has other options now. They can invest in Coinbase, they can invest in Circle, they can invest in ETFs. So it's just going to be a little bit different. You're like, you know, you're going to make money, but it's not going to be like Shiba, because again, like there were just less memes back then. So a lot more liquidity was going into memes because less memes were coming out. Ruggies lost its pizzeria money. R.I.P. But yeah, I think people are sad because maybe they got onto like this chain expecting like life-changing gains, and they aren't seeing that, and maybe they're like, you know, buying the wrong things or selling at the peaks and buying at, you know, at the wrong points. But I do,
to be fair, if you bought Sonic in the last like 3 months, there's like a 90% chance that you bought like right before a massive sell-off. But what I would say to that is, you got to nut up, dude. It was your money. You chose what to do with it. And if it's not working out, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not happy about it here. I'm in the same boat, but I don't know. My personal philosophy is like, whining and complaining isn't really going to change it. I just got to make different decisions next time. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I don't understand that aspect of it. Like going to the timeline, I have a different approach. I'm a shit poster. You know, I just post memes and GMs, and if I do post something lengthy, it's probably something I think I know a lot about, but I'm not going to sit there. And this is probably, this is a problem too. Like when, like people don't like, people from like other classes of crypto, like aren't sitting there being like, I'm down like this much money. Who's responsible? I'm coming for this person. It's like, that's just not it, like it's PvP at the end of the day,
Yeah. Well, guys, I mean, we're at time now, and my video just ended. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna use her outro. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Boost this video on YouTube. Some new feature they added where you can hit like and do something else, and it recommends it to people. I want to thank you for coming on with me at Funeral, keeping me company. We had some good conversation. I couldn't have done it without you, dude.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure being up here.
Super stoked for DerpQuest. And yeah, we'll catch you guys later. I think Drac is running this stream Friday, and I'll be out of town. So enjoy it, and I'll see you all in Singapore. God bless.
GM Sonic is Corval and Dracula Presley. GM.